In 2014, Amazon released a Kindle that completely revolutionized the e-reader market. It was the first Kindle to have a 300 ppi resolution, the first Kindle to have ambient light sensors, the first Kindle to have a flush glass display, and also the first Kindle to have vibration haptics for page turns. The Kindle that I'm referring to is the Kindle Voyage. Now, this device has been discontinued. There have been rumors of this new one coming out, the Voyage 2, for years now, but it's never come out yet. So as of right now, the only way you can buy this is buying a refurbished or used one off of Amazon or a third-party website. In today's video, I'll be doing a deep dive review of the Kindle Voyage in 2021 to see how it holds up against the current Kindle models and see if it's actually better than the models that exist today. Hi there, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Maneetpaul Singh. On this channel, we discuss tools and techniques to read books more effectively and live a more intentional life. If that's something you're interested in, consider pressing the subscribe button down below. Let me talk a bit about pricing and tech specs. Currently, the device is selling for $100 used. At the time though, this used to cost $200. That puts it actually just a little bit cheaper than the Kindle Oasis at $250 right now. So at the time, it was the top tier Kindle you could buy at a whopping $200. It was also a Kindle that you could buy with Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi plus cellular, but it only had 4 gigabytes of storage. 4 gigs of storage actually is not bad for a Kindle. That is still enough to hold hundreds, if not thousands of books. It did not have support for audiobooks though, so that actually made sense for why they chose 4 gigabytes instead of 8 or more than 8. Now in terms of the tech specs, this thing actually is pretty future-proof. It has a 1 gigahertz processor with 512 megabytes of RAM. It's the same hardware specs as the current Kindles. The Kindle Oasis does have a dual-core processor, but I have to say, for the Kindle Voyage, this thing is very, very snappy. It works just as well as my current Kindle Oasis. I would argue that it's actually even faster than my current Kindle Paperwhite, which means a lot since this device is over 6 years old compared to the Kindle Paperwhite, which came out in 2019. Now, what made this device so revolutionary, and what still makes it actually better than a lot of the Kindles out there right now, is the display technology on this device. It has a 300 ppi resolution. It was the first Kindle to offer that. That is a standard resolution now we see across all the Kindles besides the Kindle Basic model. On top of that, it does have 5 LEDs for brightness control. It does not have warm light control. That was introduced in the Kindle Oasis, so you aren't getting that on this device, but it does have a 6-inch display, the same thing we see on the Kindle Paperwhite and Kindle Basic right now. Now, what made this Kindle so special though is it has ambient light sensors, meaning it'll actually adjust the brightness on the screen for you automatically. And that's only a feature we currently see on the Kindle Oasis. That has still not come over to the Kindle Paperwhite. Now, the build quality on this Kindle Voyage is really, really nice. I actually love this design a lot. I kind of wish they stuck with it for the Kindle Paperwhite or continued making it in this shape. The back of this device is made out of magnesium. It's kind of like this rubbery material. And on the top, we have a plastic finish. I'm pretty sure the top is where the Wi-Fi antenna is, and the rest is the rubber magnesium finish. It's really nice. It's really durable to hold, and the front is all glass, a flush front display, which again was the first Kindle to offer that too. One thing I do want to call out is this Kindle has a very bold statement when it comes to design. I love the lines on the back. It just seems very, very strong. It just looks different and more pronounced than the other Kindle design elements that we currently see. And I'll also say this device is a fingerprint magnet completely on the front, on the back. Because it's magnesium on the back, the rubbery material, that gets fingerprints. The plastic on the top gets fingerprints. And of course, the glass on the front gets fingerprints. So this device gets fingerprints, I would say, much more compared to the current Kindles that are out there. Let's move on to my favorite topic. If you watch my channel, you know this is the best thing ever. The power button on this device. They actually have an awesome power button on this Kindle. You can see I'm getting very excited talking about this. The power button is on the back of the device and it's on the correct side. Come on. This reminds me of the Kobo H2O Libra. That device has a similar design of the power button being on the back of the device, but they put it on the other side where the left side of the device, where your hand, if you're a righty, your hand is not resting on that side. On the Libra H2O, the page turn buttons are on the right side. side, so it's on the opposite. For the Kindle Voyage over here, they kept the power button on the right side, so for most people who are righties, the power button is very, very easily within reach. And I love the back. I love it's a circle button. It's a clicky button. It's a really, really good button, guys. Come on. One thing they did keep across all the current Kindles is the micro USB charger on the bottom of the device over here. This micro USB charger makes sense. 2014, USB-C was not really a widespread thing, but even today, we still use the same micro USB charger. No changes there. Now, one thing this device has that no other current Kindle has is these page turn haptics. Now, on each side of the Kindle Voyage, you have this line, and if you squeeze on that line, you could change the page. So it's not really a page turn button, but it is a page turn, almost like a sensor. When you squeeze on it, it's like a haptic button. You feel a bit vibration to let you know that you press the internal sensor, and then the page turn will happen. You don't have to use this. You can just tap the screen like normal to change pages, but this is a very unique feature to the Kindle Voyage. I don't have too much of a preference on this thing. It's cool to have. It's kind of like a page turn button, but it's kind of isn't. It's just an additional option you have. I don't think it really makes a difference. I usually use the page turn on the screen by just pressing on the side of the screen, and that works just fine. And I do like, though, that you can adjust the vibration pressure, though, in the settings. So in the Kindle settings on the Kindle Voyage, you have these extra setting options for adjusting the vibration haptic to be a stronger vibration or a less strong vibration. You could also turn it off completely if you don't want to use it. I can see why Amazon has stopped using these haptic buttons over here. It doesn't really make much sense. If you're going to have these buttons on the sides, you might as well make them physical buttons. These vibration motors probably add extra costs to the build of the device. It really doesn't make much of a difference. Now, overall, I really wish they continued making this model. I kind of see this as a better version of the Kindle Paperwhite. It does have all the features the Kindle Paperwhite has right now, except for a few things. There's no Bluetooth audiobook support on this. It has less storage. It also has no waterproofing. But putting that aside, the shape of this device is basically the same. It feels the same, and it has actually a few extra features like the ambient light sensor and the page turn haptics. The way I see it is Amazon should make a Voyage 2 and add the warm light temperature control to this device and add it in as an option between the Paperwhite and the Oasis at a price point right between the two. I think that would be a very compelling device to get. Now, that being said, Amazon did not just axe this device without replacing it with anything else. The Kindle Oasis was the replacement for the Kindle Voyage, and that device is better in almost every tech spec and feature across the board. I'm curious what you think after watching this. Do you think the Kindle Voyage is a good device? Do you wish Amazon would still continue making it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're interested in buying the Kindle Voyage, a used or refurbished one, I'll leave a link for it down below in the description. I also have a link on the screen right now for my Kindle Oasis review. If you want to see the current high-end Kindle and how it compares to this, check that video out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.